So, Steve, in this module, we're going to talk about, how these particles, germs, and gases that we've been learning about, how once these things get into our system, how they affect us. How is it that they're causing, aggravating asthma and allergies and some of the other health ailments today? So, in the last module, we left off with, talking about that Mother Nature has some ways of controlling those different types of pollutants outdoors. But today we live in these tighter, more energy efficient homes, which again is a good thing. That's a positive thing. The problem with that is that it's so tight, we don't get that stuff indoors anymore. We spend a lot more time inside today than we ever have, 90% of our time, breathing that stuff in, living in these tighter homes. And that's why the EPA says that the indoor air is 2 to 5 times and can be as much as 100 times more polluted than the worst outdoor air. So knowing that we have that challenge, how is it actually affecting our bodies? What's going on with that?
I asked the same question in the mid-'90s when I was working with some consultants on, we asked them, how is this affecting our system? We got 2 to 5 times more pollution that's outside, and they gave us this scientific medical explanation that went way over my head.
As it would mine.
Yeah, so I'm like, my job is to train technicians and salespeople on how to put this in layman's terms to a homeowner. So one of the doctors we were talking to put it in layman's terms for us. He called it the allergy analogy. Say that fast about
say
10
that 3 times.
So basically he said, picture a bucket. Now if you had a bucket and you were putting a gallon of water in every minute, and it has a drain on the bottom, and on the bottom of it, the drain's letting out a gallon of water every minute. So you got a gallon going in, a gallon coming out. How long is it going to take the bucket to overflow?
Is that a trick question?
No.
It's equal input to equal output.
Right. So it'll never overflow, right? Enough going in, enough going out, right? So he said, think of the bucket now as going 2 to 5 times more going in, or 5 times more in his analogy, and the drain's letting out the same. So you got 5 gallons going in, and the drain's only letting a gallon out. What's going to happen?
Ultimately, it's going to overflow.
The bucket's going to overflow. So he said, picture your bucket as being your body. So the bucket with one going in, one going out, it's outside air. There is pollution outside, but like we were talking about, Mother Nature has a way of controlling it. So that's controlled with the ionization, the UV, and the ozone. Mm-hmm. So we got a lower amount going in, it's going in, and the same amount's going out, so our bodies can handle it. Indoor is just the opposite. It's got way more going in than our body can handle. So he said, think of your body as your bucket is the body, and we got toxins we're breathing in. The particles, germs, and gases we're breathing in, and our immune system can handle enough of it. The amount that's outside, it's going in those toxins, it's letting the same amount out. So it's got that constant balance.
Well, it's probably designed for thousands of years and breathing outdoor air in the homes and the areas that we lived in to be able to handle those types of pollutants.
Right. It's our body's designed to be living outside. Tens of thousands of years ago, when humans started populating the earth, that's where we lived at, right? Today we live in this chemical soup that we live and breathe in. So we got this aura around us of the particles, germs, and gases that are at elevated levels. So in an indoor air environment, we're actually breathing in 2 to 5 times, according to EPA, could be 100 times worse than the worst outside air. So what that does, since our immune system can't keep up, it creates a chemical reaction with histamines in our body. Histamines make you sneeze, hack, cough, cry, give you headaches, skin rashes, dizziness, all these things that histamines create.
Pretty much all those symptoms that we associate with asthma and allergies.
Right, and then you go to a doctor and you say, hey, doc, I'm sneezing, hacking, I'm coughing, crying, I don't feel good. What does it give you?
Usually some sort of an antihistamine.
It gives you an antihistamine, something that's going to block the symptom, right? It does not address the cause. Wouldn't it be a better idea to address the cause if we knew what it was?
Absolutely.
So we just gave all these quotes of all these agencies that are telling us what the problem is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we know what the cause is, and we know what the solution is. We have products that can take care of that solution. So what the doctor was saying was that we've got all these toxins in our body and it can't keep up. There's a better way of doing it. So let's talk about that better way of controlling. What about cleaning the indoor air? What's the next step? Well, we could take the roof off the house, let the rain, the wind, the lightning come in. That's a solution.
It would work, but it's not a practical one, not something that most of our homeowners would be interested in.
So let's talk about, you always give the analogy of from being from the southern markets of the ant. So Mother Nature has a way of controlling the outdoor environment, but the challenge that we have is that there's no natural predator. So let's talk about a natural predator before the ant. Let's tell the story about that.
Well, fire ants, and guys, I don't know if you're familiar with fire ants or not. If you've ever stepped in them before, you'll never forget them. So you'll get familiar.
They bite like crazy.
Yeah, you'll get real familiar with them pretty quickly down here. Fire ants are not natural to Florida, yet they're now covering Florida, and it's because they don't have any natural predators. In fact, they're starting to see fire ants move up through the entire southeastern U.S. And when we look at air pollution or indoor air pollution, to me, it's the same way. We've blocked off the natural predators, the ionization, the UVC energy, the oxidation process. We've stopped those things from occurring indoors anymore, and so that stuff just builds up. There's nothing to attack it out there unless we do something about that. Mm-hmm. And there's other challenges with that.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about an article. This is like 2006. There was an article in the HVACR business. And whenever I see an article, especially this one, had the front page of it, it says, or the front cover had a big IAQ.
It got my
letters.
attention.
Yeah, and had a big dust bowl sitting there. And I always like to read these articles, see if we can pick up anything new. And the first sentence in this article says, did you know that a 1,500 square foot house on average has 40 pounds of dust in it? So you think about that. You thought
that's a huge number.
That's a huge amount.
Yeah, it's guys, it's no different, Steve. I think you have to use these up north, but you get the bags of salt for water softening systems. Those things weigh 40 pounds. That's the usual size bag that you have to get. Think about the size and the heftiness of that bag. That's how much dust is being created in the average 1,500 square feet of living space.
Right. So we got all this dust in there, and so let's talk about that and use that as like a starting point. 1,500 square foot house, I know we dust, and we get rid of some dust, and we do vacuum and things like that, but on average, because we're always creating more dust with skin flakes and stuff from carpeting and that, so there's more dust being created even though we're removing some. Just for sake of conversation, let's say that the average 1,500 square foot house has 40 pounds of dust in it. And let's relate that to the big bad dust mite that everybody talks about. If you ask 10 years ago, if anybody even knew what a dust mite was, they probably wouldn't even know what it was. But now...
Then Oprah said something about it. Now everybody knows about
it. Right.
it.
Oprah said something about pillows. She had a thing on there and weighed the pillows, and this one weighed more because it has so many dust mites in it. And mattress companies, they say you should change your mattress every 7 years because it has so many dust mites in it and you can't get rid of them. But it's not really the dust mite that we're concerned about as much as the dust mite feces.
Yeah, it's a nasty little creature. I understand that it drops the deuce about 20 times a day.
I don't know who the nerd is that counted those one day, but somebody decided that there was about 20 fecal pellets a day coming from one dust mite. So we got 40 pounds of dust in the house, and you can Google this stuff, and they'll say there's 42,000 dust mites living in an ounce of dust. Each one gives out 20 fecal pellets a day. So let's do the math. We got 1,500 square foot house has what? 40 pounds of dust.
40 pounds of dust in it.
How many dust mites are in an ounce?
42,000 dust mites per ounce of dust.
We got 16 ounces in a pound. We got 40 pounds in a house. So if we did the math, take 40 pounds times 16 ounces times 42,000 dust mites times 20 fecal pellets per dust mite, we get 537,600,000 dust mite feces floating up in the air every single day, and they do that the next day. 15% of the population suffer from an allergic reaction to dust mite feces.
It's pretty nasty, guys, if you think about it. And I'll tell you what, if you ever want to see the homeowner's face cringe, especially the female homeowner, share some information about dust mites. Do the math for them.
Well, and that's why a lot of these marketing companies are doing that. I've seen guys with trucks that have big dust mite right on the side of their truck.
It's a big, ugly creature. But so at the end of the day, again, we've kind of joked about this, but we've got some challenges. What's the solution to that?
Well, we can all walk around with gas masks on. It sure the heck sounds like what we're dealing with today. We got all these chemical gases and everything. It is a solution, but once again, not a practical solution. So another solution would be that we could medicate. I read a statistic that said that the U.S. has 5% of the world's population, but it takes 80% of the medication. So we are
incredible.
A highly medicated society. I mean, look at the ads on TV today. 75% of the ads on TV are for medication.
Yeah, and not only that, but 75% of the ad is usually for some nasty side effects that are associated with it.
Well, that's what they'll do. They'll tell a little bit about the medication, then they'll tell 45 seconds about how bad it is for you. Even could cause death. I mean, if you look at what it could cause you, now I'm not saying that these don't work and say what they do, but there are some major side effects. So if we could address the cause and not have to deal with the symptom to begin with, that would be a better solution. Don't you agree?
It certainly makes a lot more sense to me.
So in a home, typically today, 85-90% of the homes have a filter in, which drives me absolutely nuts because we have these real high efficient equipments today, 16 SEER, 20 SEER, 95.5%. efficient in that. And then we put 59-cent throwaway filters in there, which you might as well have sold them at 13, say, or 80%, because that's what it's going to be in 6 months anyway. So we've got particles in the air, we've got germs, and we've got gases. If we replace that filter with an air cleaner, now we're going to be able to remove even the really small submicronic particles that we're going to talk about when we get into filtration versus air cleaning.
Which make up the majority of what's in the air. It's
Right,
the
so
stuff we can't even see.
Right, that's gone. We put the right powered UV light in there. That'll take care of the germs.
Like harnessing the energy of the sun, bringing
Right.
that indoors as a natural predator.
And take another wavelength of the energy of the sun and have that to control the gases in the air. So with 3 technologies, we can do the same thing and create a clean air indoor air state just like Mother Nature can outside.
Providing cleaner, fresher, healthier air to those homeowners, making them more comfortable in the houses they're
Right.
in today.
And in the upcoming modules here, we're going to get in more technical information about the products that we suggest that you use to create this clean air state.